which is finally here after a long winter. So anyway, I'm not going to talk about the weather any longer, but I hope everyone's doing well. I've had a good week. I've been busy, taking care of a lot of things, continuing to get outside as much as possible and run and stay busy. So the thing that came up this week, which was interesting, was in addition, I was working with my coach again, in addition to like 5 things that you are grateful for, which, you know, is a list that I've been doing, try to do it every day. I don't get actually there. I don't actually get it every day, but every other day. But try to get as many days as possible. So I write down the 5 things that I'm grateful for, and then I got a suggestion from my coach to say, in addition to that, write down 5 things you're good at, which I thought was really interesting. And they can't be the same day to day. They have to change, and they have to be things you're grateful for have to be sort of in your control, and then things you're good at obviously have to be areas of strength that you're confident in, and you know you're good at. You can do it better than a lot of people. So writing down the 5 things you're good at is an interesting twist on the 5 things you're grateful for. Because I mean, being grateful and knowing what you have and being able to be thankful, I think helps because it brings what's good for your mindset. But things you're good at, special, it makes you different. And that leads into the second point, which is doing the hard stuff first, which to me, I had to flip that because I always did the easy stuff first. And I think, I know I wasted a lot of time doing the easy stuff and don't cooperate, but when they do, they feel really proud and they know they're going to have a good day. And that's why I try to get them to do it, because I've heard that from the military and a lot of successful people, that if you make your bed, that, you know, you're going to have a good day because of the fact that you've accomplished that, and then you can go on to accomplish a lot of other things. So little things like that I think are helpful. Doing the hard stuff first, you know, like flipping it from the path of least resistance, or the stuff that's easy for you to do that when you're later in the day, or when you can fit it in, and do the hard stuff first, which you know, probably the aim of the success comes from 20% of that, 20% in quickly, early, and it makes sense. So you can do it more effectively. You can probably do it quicker, and you have your full energy, your full capacity to run through it. So been trying that, to do the hard stuff first, and then I've also, along those lines, have worked on calendars and setting it up Sunday, and it's difficult. I diligently did it this week, but it doesn't always line up exactly how I plan, and there's things that come up that change the timing of what I need to do, and there's obviously things that I don't write down or I don't plan on my calendar that come up that need to be taken care of. But it's as best as I can, the things that I know about, I calendar and I organize and I sort of run through. And then also, obviously, with that comes doing the hard stuff first, and or the stuff that I don't want to do. That's another way to think about it, is like, what don't you want to do, and you should do that thing first and get it out of the way, and then once you do, it's not this big crazy project. It's probably a lot easier than you think, but you get it out of the way, and then you're free to move on to the other things. But that's obviously the most important thing, is that the thing that's difficult and that's hard, and that you really need to do. So I've changed my focus there, seeing how that works. And then the last point I wanted to talk about today was completely separate from anything that I've talked about yet. But for me, music is very interesting, and I think is like if you hear a song from like when you were in college or when you were in high school or whatever, it's so funny that it like takes you back to that time. At least for me, it does. It takes me back to that time of when I heard that song or when that song was popular or whatever. And that's really interesting because it's like it's so like it's so specific to that time, and it you know you like can go to that moment in your head and remember like what you were doing when that song came out, or when everyone was playing it or whatever it was. Um, yeah, and along those lines, I've always been looking for other music to listen to, and I'm an Apple iTunes loyalist. I have all my stuff there. I pay for subscriptions. I pay for cloud service because of the fact that it recommends the recommendation engine and the algorithm that runs behind it that tells me what I would like. That's similar to the music that I've already downloaded and stuff like that. And the reason why I use iTunes, and I don't know if anyone cares, but the reason why I use iTunes is because I like to have all my music on my device and like be able to use it whether I'm connected to Wi-Fi or not. And I know Spotify and Pandora and some of those other ones are limited to you have to have connectivity and you have to be connected. So I like to have that sort of regardless of whether I have a connection or Wi-Fi or anything like that. And I think Spotify is probably different these days. I think you can download actually, but that was the big differentiator for me was that iTunes you could like own your music and have it regardless of where you were and whether I was commuting or something on the train and I lost service. I could still listen to whatever I wanted to listen to. So that was my iTunes journey. But I think everyone's loyal to like a specific service. My kids love Spotify. They get Spotify Premium, uninterrupted ads, all that stuff. So anyway, very specific, and everyone has their brand or platform that they like, and yeah, you usually can't. People that usually don't switch between iTunes or Spotify or Pandora or whatever it may be. And then two more things. Music is interesting to me also because of the fact that when I run or I work out, I like to listen to certain music, and I think it's more along the lines of like music that gets you pumped up, and a lot of rap, a lot of like Rage Against the Machine type music that's like upbeat, up tempo, powerful words and powerful sounds. But yeah, I really do enjoy like listening to music, and then also when I run, it's funny because the music a lot of times sets the tempo of the run, and you run to keep in time with the music and pace with the music. So I obviously choose upbeat songs and not the slow stuff to make me go faster and make me cover more miles per run. So yeah, I'm about to go do that. And the last thing about music is so funny and interesting to me is that it's so subjective. Like what I like, and it's so personal, and what I like, is very different from what everyone else likes. And there's probably points of similarity, but also at the same point, it's so like unique to you. And yeah, it's like you based on a lot of things that are going on, your mood, what you're doing, and I think about that all the time, like the playlists and sort of what you like and what you're doing probably have a pretty high correlation. If you're exercising, working out, running, it's upbeat and up tempo and fast. And then if it's you're driving or relaxing or chilling, it's probably something a little bit more mellow and not as grit your teeth. So anyway, that's the post for the week. It's Friday. I'm ready for the weekend. I'll see you later. All right. This is post number 9. Bye-bye.